Is better?
Perfect.
All right, it sounds much better on this end as well. It does look like, and it's coming.
It sounds much better on this end as well. It does look like, and it's coming. Sounds much better on this end as well.
How about now?
Oh, it's always fine with me.
Okay, I had to turn Twitch off because I had Twitch going on over here, and it was. I think that's what the problem was. So fuck it. If we don't have Twitch, it's on Twitch, but I can't read anything off of there. But anyway, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, there's some ladies out there because all hockey people know ladies love hockey players. Anyway, welcome to the first episode of Digital Chiclets, and I am wanting to go over a few things. We're going to try and do this every couple of weeks. We're going to always have a guest host around because, as you know, my playing skills aren't too good, but I can throw light on any kind of a situation. We're going to try to make this a lot different than Wolf and Klein because they're into the genuine and authentic, and I just want to be funny as fuck. So that kind of thing. But we have. Exactly. If you ain't drinking when you're watching this, get up and don't watch. And that's what I say. So, yay, 420. So, and I bet that's a Busch Light, isn't it?
No.
No. Oh, it's just water. Holy cow. All right. So, our first guest this season is none other than Derek Sutton, GMDS himself. As you all know, he is the GM and owner of the Hamilton Mustangs. Notice these nice threads in the queue. He is the Graceland Kings, and he does have Sutton's number on. You need the little head bandage there the next time around to make it look more authentic.
I should get the Dr. Sutton jock strap.
There you go. So, and you were in the Vintage League too as well. Who were you in the Vintage? Because all that was white clean off of the sheets.
Yeah, I was the Georgian Bay Bombers.
Okay, gotcha. I hope the Vintage comes back because this podcast we're not really going to touch much on the W. It'll obviously weave its way through and around just because it's all the same community. But I'm really trying to spotlight the Q and the Vintage and hopefully the Golden Era if we get that back. Or if it's, I know Ultra's talked a little about another one, a retro, where you get a team from early on and carry them through kind of a dynasty league from the very beginning. I'm not sure, but hopefully we'll do that. But we're going to try to keep these things to about 30-35 minutes so it doesn't bore the shit out of you. And with as much as I'm drinking, I won't have to get up and go pee quite so often. So as you can see, every week I will show everybody that as far as jerseys, I'll wear a different one every week. I've got 36 of them to, yeah, I know. My wife says I spend too much on jerseys. She might be right. But I'll have a different one every week on. So, and then maybe we'll get into baseball jerseys and Sutton's favorite, the basketball jerseys, because I do have some of those as well. But
what's your favorite hockey jersey?
I've got a Edmonton Oilers Gretzky jersey that I absolutely love.
Nice.
And then I have one of those hoodie type of things that's from years and years ago. I can't even get it on now because I gained so much fucking weight. I can get it down to my belly about right here, and then I can't stretch it any. It won't get any tighter. And
wear that next episode. Then.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll be talking like this. I'll be 3 inches taller is what I'll be. So yeah, so I've got those. Probably my favorite jersey of all is my Freddie Freeman Atlanta Braves jersey that I've had since I got it the year we won the World Series back in 2021. So. But that's another time for another story and all that kind of stuff. So today's episode, everybody, is just going to be, we're going to zoom in on the Q draft and kind of take a quick look at who everybody selected, how they're performing for those few teams that are actually out there playing in the Q so far. Because as I was going through here, there's not a lot that have actually played. It's kind of the same group of people that play in the W in the first 4 hours of the W opening up. Yeah, so Sutton, I will let you go ahead and take that first one. Chris Chelios going to who picked him up? Chalky, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, after Chalky held on and beat me in 7 games in the finals, he had the first overall pick, and he took Chelios. I don't hate the pick. I mean, I had Chelios as a top 1, 2, 3 type of player. I always wonder, though. I guess my only quibble would be is that, you know, if you've got Brett Hull and you've got Chris Chelios, and your forward group consists of Greg Adams, Vincent Donfus, I'm always going to lean on the side of the forward.
Sure.
Than I am on the side of the defenseman. But again, you know, we're talking, you know, slight differences here. I don't hate the pick. I would have done Brett Hull, to be honest.
Well, I was actually glad he selected Chelios because I thought about it. Now, granted, I don't pick until 4th because I thought I had an okay, you know, with Luke Robitaille, I've got my center. At least I thought so. And I was like, you know, my defensemen were just pure shit. So when he picked him, I was like, good, then I don't have to worry about making that selection. And then I was like, fuck, where's it gonna go? Because then, of course, Will took Brett Hull, and I was like, okay, you know, and he's actually done pretty good with him. What's he averaging, a point a game right now, I think?
Yeah, here, I gotta bring up the standings, but I mean, he beat me in a game, and Brett Hull scored a few goals. Like, what I found, I mean, first of all, it's a great pick.
Yeah.
I think he got the best player 2nd overall, so I'll give him that. But I find it interesting that Will, as a young man, is getting Brett Hull as a rookie, and his dad in the W is going to have Brett Hull when he retires.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm telling you, man, Will has not fallen far from Red. It's obvious. You know, because I thought he was like 14 or 15, but he's 12. And I was like, holy fuck, this guy's going to be something. When he gets a little, you know, he's already well above me. He kicks my ass. Now, I think I beat him 1 time, and that was a long time ago. But yeah, I'm just like, I told Red, I'm going to have to come up there and get Will to have to show me how to do something. So,
well, hey, when you're that young, your reflexes are a lot quicker. You don't have other things on your mind. You can kind of just focus on the game, and you know what? He's got a hell of a teacher too. So
exactly, and the fact that he's doing it at this age. When I was 12. When I was 12, there wasn't even an Atari out yet. So, hey. But, yeah. All right, the next pick, it looks like it was Jer with Pierre Turgeon. And that was I thought that was because he's a great two-way guy, obviously. So I was glad. But then Jer's not played any this year, so I don't know where he's going to go with that. But I think that'll wind up being a good pick because he's obviously a great player, not only real life, but in video games as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and he's one of the few guys in this draft that actually had 5 speed at some point, at least in his career. I mean, in the queue, we know that 4 is the W5.
Exactly.
So if you can get a few years of 5 speed in there, perfect. And looking at his team, as where is he here? As Curry starts to slide down. Is when Turgeon starts to go up, so it really meshes well with his team. Yeah. So I like the pick.
Yeah, and I'll have to be honest. I had the next pick with Gilmore, but I was really, do I take Gilmore or do I take Turgeon? Because Turgeon, I think, plays more the style I play, which is basically run into the fucking goalie. You know, but yeah, I can't wait to see how Jared does with him.
Yeah, and as far as like taking Gilmore, I love the pick for you. I mean, I think his playmaking with Robitaille in the middle it'll be a perfect complement. Plus, I like having a little bit of diversity, someone with a little bit of oomph, and other guys that do other things, right?
Exactly. Well, and
again, I think that works well with what you've got going on. Well,
and I think the one thing, and nobody will find this as news, no breaking news here, I can't score. I don't know. I've obviously concentrated on the defense, but I was kind of surprised how much oomph Gilmore packs playing defense, and he actually wins faceoffs, because there for a while I was using Robitaille as a center, and fuck, he can't. My 8-year-old son wins more faceoffs. So I've switched going him to center and move Luke back to the right wing. So
and that's always been a question in whatever league that we play in is what constitutes or what makes up a guy that's going to be good at faceoffs. In my own mind, I've said that it's defensive awareness and passing and some sort of combination. And if Gilmore is doing that for you, again, that kind of lends credence to my theory. But again, it's only a theory.
Yeah. Well, I just know that Robitaille was not, and Gilmore is. So he's going to be my center moving forward, and that way I can just get off some big one-timers from Luke on the wing, hopefully. So
one question I had for you with this pick, and again, I think Gilmore was the right pick, but you're wearing that Canes jersey and looking at where's your team here? The back end is a little shaky.
It's shitty. Not just shaky, shitty. Yeah.
And this is a name I'm going to bring up a lot in the next half hour or so. Were you thinking of Glenn Wesley at all at that point in the draft?
Big time. Big time. And I think that had Luke Robitaille had a better rookie year, I might have gone with Wesley.
Yeah.
He just, and again, my lack of skill in scoring probably hindered that. But, coming up, I am looking at that wonderful Hurricane defenseman Brent Burns coming up, and that's the one I'm salivating after Ovi, of course. So.
Well, next year in the queue, Mr. Brian Leach becomes available.
Exactly. So, and I tell you, I can remember just playing 94 and 95 back when I was in my 20s. He was almost unstoppable. I mean, he actually had the ability to hit those long one-timers from the blue line and score, which kind of suits my game as well. So, but now moving to the next pick, Salvo took Cliff Ronning with the fifth pick ultimately, and he's not played a lot, but I thought that was a great pick. Sneaky good. You're not a Ronning fan?
I differ.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And I'll give you some reasoning behind it. I think Ronning is a good player. And he's got speed out the wazoo. Again, one of the rare guys that's going to be 5 speed for years or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you look at Salvo's team already, you've already got Russ Portnell, you already got Kevin Dineen, you already got Esa Tikkanen. He picked up Rob Brown on waivers. Like, he's already got a bunch of small, speedy guys already.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I like having a bit of variation on the roster, so I mean, I wonder if someone like a Nieuwendyk, a Richer, his defense is solid, so he didn't need Wesley. But I think Ronning's fast, and that's great, but that's all he is. He's fast.
Yeah, and I tell you, I think the one thing that has, after coming back on my hiatus from Texas, that I've learned, you have to know what kind of game you play personally to get the people that fit you. Like, I could get all fast people, but then I'd overrun everything because my mind don't think quite that fast. I'm an old fucker. So, it is one, and hopefully it works out because I'd like to see, Salvo's a hell of a player. And he can get on one of these runs, and I think Ronning, from my time playing 94, was almost a god. And I think he lost a little in that transition to 94 to 95, but I just remember him as a 94 player and just zooming up and down the ice, he and Linden and Bure just killing everybody. So,
yeah.
And then, which you brought that perfect segue to Nieuwendyk, who knew he picked up, man, and he is fucking lighting it up.
Yeah, and if you look at kind of who I had ranked and their position, this is basically where I thought Nieuwendyk would go, was somewhere in the top 5 to 7 picks.
Yeah,
which is exactly where he went. The only thing I worry about Nieuwendyk, he's got a few later years with only 3 speed, but that's 6 years down the road. Things change. Take the best player for the next 5 years, and then worry about years 6 through 10 later on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that the way that I look at drafts is you take the best player available. if you have 2 or 3 rounds, then you start looking to fill something and just hope that good player fills out. And it's obvious because as of yesterday, Newendijk already had 19 points. I mean, he was the second leading scorer of all the rookies. So he's definitely working it up there. What'd you think about his next pick with Shanny, who is, of course, on my W team and is actually I'm starting to finally learn how to use him. Thank you. So
good. I'm glad, because honestly, if you use him the right way, the guy can be deadly. So,
yeah.
But it's funny. W Shanahan, Q Shanahan.
Two different.
Not the same Shanahan.
Not the same Shanny. Exactly.
So originally this was my pick selection. This is where we made that kind of big deal.
Yep.
I sent this pick 8, next year's first, Steve Smith and Brian Prop, over to Novi for James Patrick and Mark Messier.
Yep.
So honestly, I love James Patrick because he's a right-hand shot. I didn't have a right-hand shot. He had better agility than Smith. He wanted Smith, so I was kind of cool with that. Prop was going to be a drop for me. So I basically ended up trading 2 picks for Messier. And honestly, once Turgeon, Gilmore, Hull, Newendijk, once those guys left, because I was kind of looking for a left-hand, left winger type of player, I didn't have any strong feelings about Danny or Riche or any of the other guys. So I was happy. It took a long time to make the deal, but we finally made it happen. But for Newey then to get Shanahan, it's not who I would have taken. He asked. It doesn't matter if I disclose this now. He asked me who I would have taken at that spot, and I was in between Riche and Steve Thomas.
Ah, okay. Which is funny because Steve Thomas never got picked up.
Not until the very end of the draft.
Was he? Oh, yeah, that's right. Troy Puss picked him up. That's right. And he's sitting on the bench for him. Holy cow. So.
Well, it'll take him a few years, understandably. But yeah, the one thing I didn't like about Shanahan is whereas Newendijk doesn't turn into 3-speed for a little while, Shanahan doesn't go above 3-speed. So, depending on what else you're doing with your roster, you can make that work in the queue. But I just didn't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah. Well, in the next 2 or 3 years, when I actually get a good grip on how all this kind of shit works together, because it seems to be much more, intricate than even out of the park baseball, which I was having to. It just seems strange, but anyway. I hope that I can do that because I love Shanahan on the W, and I know I got a lot of flack for picking him up because he was old and shit, but I love him, and I think he goes well with Yashin. But that's W stuff. We won't even go there. So now here's the pick. This one that Kleiner picked up with Van Beesbroek. I have Daniel Berthume, and I really thought about doing something with Van Beesbroek, but I was like, do I take a goalie this early? I truly was thinking that, because I see all the stuff, do goalies really matter and blah, blah, blah. Van Beesbroek's going to be a good one for Klein for a long time, I think.
Well, and that's, I'm at the point with my own roster where it's like my goalie is what's holding me back. And if you look at Klein's team, he's got Francis, he's got Lemieux. His defense is fairly solid with Olsen, Driver, Samuelson, Doug Wilson. Again, maybe Wesley fits into here, but he's a team in win now mode. So he took a win now goalie. Yeah. So again, I don't hate the pick. Would I take a goalie in the top 10 picks of any draft? Probably not, but he didn't really have any other glaring needs.
That's true, and he's got him sitting behind Reggett, so Van Beesbroek's going to be getting ramped up again when Reggett's starting his decline as well.
The only thing I would ask Klein is, I don't know if he's live on this or not, but when he and I played, he was not happy with Cam Neely or Troy Murray. He kept flipping them back and forth, and I wonder if he would have been happier with the next pick, Stefan Riche.
Yeah.
With a right-handed, a little bit more speed, So that I'm curious to hear what Kleiner says on that.
Yeah. Well, and on Riche with the next pick, the thing, we all know he can score. I think the thing that stood out to me is how much he is a force out there checking people right now. I mean, he's knocking people flat on their ass. I think, was there anybody, I think he had the most checks of any of the rookies. Yeah, 65 checks.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, I don't have that many in the whole year with my whole team. So.
And the only thing that kind of turned me off from Riche is his shot accuracy. It's like a 2. But,
yeah.
I mean, if you're only going to use him on cross crease, I mean, he's going to be 75% on those. I mean, occasionally you're going to get the,
Exactly. Yep. So now the next pick, Zalapski, was one that you're not a big Zalapski guy?
I'm not a fan of Zalapski over Wesley.
Well, now I will give you that, but I thought at this point Wesley would have been gone.
Yeah,
I really did.
I had Wesley as top 7 pick.
Yeah, I had him in my top 5, and that's what made it. But I just couldn't pass on Gilmore, even though I knew I needed the defensive help. So I was kind of glad to pick up Tom Curvers, who actually is kind of anchoring my defensive ends right now. So it's not bad. So I thought Zalapski, I think Nips will make him 100-goal scorer. That's what he's going to wind up doing. So.
But, yeah, and I looked at it before, and here, good, it's still up. I mean, Glenn Wesley every year 5 agility.
Yeah.
Every year 4 speed.
4 speed.
Now Zalapski every year is 4 speed, but Zalapski in terms of agility is 3, 4, 3, 3, 3. So like for the next number of years, I mean, and he's got similar shot accuracy. He's got lower passing. Zalapski does. He's a little bit higher on checking, but I think the big thing, speed and agility, are the 2 most important things. And Wesley's better, so that's why when I saw him take Zalapski, I was like, okay, whatever.
Well, and it surprised me Kevin Hatcher even went before Glenn Wesley.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but now I will say this, speed-wise with Nips, because he is just all over. He's just a speed demon up and down the ice because he just mesmerizes you with how much, and especially in them fucking yellow outfits, man, where they're like, wow. And I'm colorblind, so that's saying something.
Maddie, honestly, when I'm playing him, I wish I was colorblind. I told Nips when I played him, I'm like, your jersey's burned by retinas. They're awful to play against.
They are. It is, and they're hard not to watch. They really are because they are almost mesmerizing. So now I'm interested in what you're thinking about Craig Janney, because I loved him when I was in my 20s. I don't know now. I'm pulling him up right now to see kind of what we got going on with him. So I think he'll wind up playing a good role for Pink. I do believe. What do you think?
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with the Janney pick. He's similar to Shanny.
Yeah.
He's 3 speed. And
is he?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Pink's team, like he's got Sandstrom, Klima. Cicerelli's already a slow player, so now you're just adding in another slow player. I mean, his defense is stacked. He didn't have to do anything. His goalies are fine.
Yeah.
I just think that we probably could have used some speed, like someone like Peter Stastny, even though he's only good for a couple more years. But you know what? You don't need anything. You've already got Sandstrom who plays for 10 years. You've got Cicerelli who plays for 10 years. You've got Klima that plays for 10 years. Like, you know what? I just don't see how Janney helps his team.
Well, maybe Stastny had a PED in his urine or something, and he couldn't play, or didn't have a PED, so he couldn't play for the Junkies. So I was a big Janney fan. I don't know. I don't think that I would have taken him, obviously, at the number 4 pick, but I think it'll work good because Pink he seems to put together good teams, and he knows his games. I think it'll work out good for him.
Well, no, exactly, and again, my opinions are kind of based on my own style of play and how I like to do things. And again, other people may have things that works for them that I'm not seeing, but I guess that's why I'm the middle of the road team.
Yeah, well, and I'm the bottom of the road. I'm looking up at everybody. So hey, I have much different perspectives. I'm looking for anything I can get at the present time, just in the way of scoring. So, Sal, glad you could join us. Everything after this is going to start at 8. This one had to start at 7 because I had stuff on my end to do. So my bad. Just for everybody that's out there, it'll be obviously streaming on Twitch now, but it should be simultaneously streaming on YouTube as well, and it'll be on the Digital Chiclets streaming on that site in perpetuity and all that. So if anybody wants to go and watch it over and over and over, please I welcome critique, because I got to be quite honest, I was nervous as fuck getting ready to do this. So
and make sure you like and subscribe.
Exactly, like and subscribe. That's what my 8-year-old said. Tell him to like and subscribe. You got to do that, Dad. And I'm like, you're 8, dude. When I was 8, I just wanted to throw rocks at birds. So, all right, where are we? All right, here you go for Ultra and Kevin Hatcher.
Yeah. So, again, I'm looking at the Barrow team. Goalie. Good situation in goal. Bobby Smith starting to fade out. Peter Zezel is Peter Zezel. He wavered Ulf Dolan. He's got there's not a whole lot of star power, or there isn't a lot of impact at forward. And even though he made he had a need at defense. So he's got Ellett, who's good.
Yep.
But he made the trade with LHX to get Mo Mantha. He's got Babbage. Hatcher has a couple of big years, but that's, I think, on tertiary stats. Again, he's another defenseman with 3 speed. And again, I think what he needed was really a forward at that point. And the forwards that went after him, Peter Stastny,
Thomas,
and then he ended up taking Kissio with that LHX pick anyway.
Yeah.
So he knew he needed one, but again, Glenn Wesley, if you wanted to go defense, why didn't you take Glenn Wesley?
I thought he was going to take him, quite frankly. I really did. So, but Ultra's done this long enough, and I would never. Again, maybe there's something in these sheets, because he's like you. He lives in these fucking things, and there's something in there that made him say he's going to fit, because it's all about chemistry. I mean, the one thing I've learned is I've got to have slower defensemen, because I'll get down there and my defenseman will wind up below the red line, and then I'm trying to bust ass getting back up the ice with a forward. So, I'm just, when Sega took Glenn Wesley, my heart, I was like, damn it, because I was really hoping at that point to pick him up on waivers.
I don't know if you can see it on here.
Oh yeah.
Check mark.
Yeah. Excellent pick.
Finally, someone took the best defenseman in the draft.
Yeah.
At the 14th overall pick. So.
Yeah.
I remember because I think I was even trying to trade for this pick, because I was like, I don't need Glenn Wesley, but if I can get him here for whatever pick down the road, or some player I don't need, I'll just keep stockpiling players. But no, he had his eye on him, and he took him and made a perfect pick.
Well, and honestly, had I been better at this fucking game and a little further down in the list, I would have selected him. Just again, too hard not to take Dougie to pick him up. Yeah, it was just hard.
And there's a difference between picking 4 and 14.
There is. Plus, he's got that Canes tie, I'm just like, oh, man. So, Stastny I really thought hard and long about Stastny, because you're right, two great years, and then he kind of starts falling off the edge of the earth. But those 2 great years are great years.
Yes.
And we're seeing that now. Caden is just going crazy with him. Going crazy.
Exactly. I mean, you can't deny the results.
Yep.
You look at his team, and he probably should have went goalie. He probably should have went defense. Forward was probably the last of his needs, considering he's got Courtnall, LaFontaine, Nichols, Ridley, Goulet. But results speak for themselves.
Yeah, 23 points. I've not even scored 23 points as a team. 23 goals. So, I think the Wesley, Sega being able to get Wesley at 14, just trumpet the horns, man. That's your pick of the pick of the draft, because that was wow. And then Stasny obviously has turned out to be a great one. I think with Puss picking up Steve Thomas, and we all know what he's going to wind up being, is great. And I hate to see it, because like that fucker needs any more scoring prowess. He can score on anybody, even if he's dead.
And it's funny because Caden just chimed in about Wesley was his pick, and you can see what he's saying, because I was trying to get to Sagathon, I was trying to get to Caden, and Caden's like, no, I got two guys, one of them's going to come to me. So
yeah, exactly. And like I say, you knew Gilmore wasn't going to go past 4 or 5, and had I been 7th and actually won like 4 games in the season, I would have been what Wesley would have gone 7, without a doubt. But slick pickup, and everybody was right trying to get to him. I mean, he's going to have a long and storied career in the queue, without a doubt. So Neil Broughton, Wolf he's going to find some way to use this guy to make him. What's the word I'm wanting to find? To be important. I have a feeling.
Yeah. I gotta look at the actual stats here on Neil Broughton, because honestly, I didn't have him ranked in my first round or anything.
It was a surprising one.
I mean, if you look at his roster, I would have thought Dave Manson should be the pick here.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Wolf's defense, let's bring that back up. I mean, he's got Larry Murphy. That's
right.
Good.
Yeah.
But I mean, Robert Picard, Mario Marwa, Billy Huber, and I mean, he picked up McLean on waivers. He's got Bullard. He's got Tim Kerr. He's got Turgeon. I mean, he needed speed, and I think that's why he took him.
Yeah.
I just think that there's plenty of guys out there who are 3 agility, 4 speed that you could have picked up on waivers. Whereas on defense at this point, you were basically down to Manson, Calle Johansson.
Yeah.
And it was a perfect opportunity for the Wolf to go to Rhett and be like, I know you want Manson. What are you going to give me for this pick?
Yeah.
And maybe those conversations happened. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and we'll get to Manson, but he's working out well for Red. That's for damn sure. So, to say the least.
Well for Red.
Yeah, fucker. I shouldn't say that. I love the band. Anyway, Kissio, possibly my favorite player of all time in all the NHL Sega games, just because him and Falloon were the keys to the San Jose Sharks. And the Sharks were horrible in these games. Absolutely horrendous. So I love to see Kissio go up there. Plus, with the Kelly Kissio tournament, somebody had to pick him, right? Somebody had to.
And man, you know what? I mean, Kissio is going to give you 5 speed for the next 2 years, 4 speed for the next 3 years. I mean, at this stage in the draft, it's a
good solid pick. Yep.
Frankly, I'm surprised, that he didn't take him with the Hatcher pick.
Okay.
Because at this stage, I mean, he still ended up with Kissio and Hatcher, but I mean, theoretically, he could have gotten Glenn Wesley and
Stasny. Well, Stasny would have been gone.
No. If it was me, I'd probably, looking at the guys that he was looking at, I go back to the Hatcher pick, and I wasn't all that stoked about it. Especially when you could have got Calle Johansson, Manson, or Hatcher at this stage in the draft.
Yeah.
So you could have went Peter Stasny, Dave Manson instead of Kissio and Hatcher.
Well, and having just played the Halifax Highlanders and getting crushed by Dave Manson, this was a steal at number 20. A steal.
Yep.
Because...
We all said before the draft, we all knew exactly who he was taking. We all knew he was taking Manson, and he took Manson.
You know, number one, you don't want to meet any of his team in a backyard alley or anything, because between Manson and Probert and those guys, any of his teams, they're just going to maul you to death.
Yeah,
but
he's starting Joey Koser, and he's just crushing people.
Dude, Joey Koser scored 2 fucking hat tricks on me. 2. Joey Koser, did he ever have a hat trick in real life? Probably not. Red gets him and turns him into fucking Wayne Gretzky. Go figure. Yeah, so, well, with all these waiver pickups, were there any that surprised you now that we've covered the draft? Were there any?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I had 4.
Okay.
That I thought were, I mean, the fact that Kirk McLean wasn't taken into the draft, shocking.
Yes.
Who else did I have? Randy Wood.
Shocking.
He's again, like Cliff Ronning, he's a 5-speed guy the whole time with other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Ronning is a little bit better, don't get me wrong, but if you just wanted a speed guy, Randy Wood was the man. Calle Johansson's a good depth defenseman to get on waivers at that point, and Joe Murphy. I'm shocked that Joe Murphy didn't go in the first round.
Yeah. Well, I know that when McLean didn't go, all I could do was look at Daniel Barthum, and I was just licking my lips. Oh my God, I've got to be able to get him, and obviously he didn't last to me. So, because I was like, I could have been setting goal for a long time with him, and Lord knows I need good goaltenders. So,
I think it was Magnus who did the waivers this year.
Yeah.
If you ask Magnus, I think I sent him about 8 or 9 waiver wires for goalies. It was like McLean, Healy, Berthune, Riendo. Just like
on down.
Every goalie was like, I need one of those guys.
Well, with Barthum, I think he's got another couple of good years, not great years. It'll give me a chance to work on my goaltending ability, I hope. At least that's what I'm going under the impression for. But man, I just look and I say, my God, how good Kirk McLean would have looked in the moonshine colors. He would have been awesome. But I'll have to admit, I did have a chance to take him because I took Sean Burke. And all I could think of, and I'll have to say, it's because Belly uses him, and he's fucking awesome. And now, after I made the pick, I was like, I'm not near the manual player, not even a wart on Belly's ass as a manual player. What was I doing? So,
but at the same time, once McLean was off the board,
yeah,
you're splitting hairs between Burke and Healy and Berthum and Riendo and all those guys. I mean, once McLean was off the board, they're all basically the same guy.
Well, I got swept up in the whole Belly fever. I was like, he used Sean Burke. That means I'm going to have to take him. So now you've got some trade. You told me you had some trades that were.
Well, no, I mean, we kind of talked about the Messier deal.
Yeah.
And I mean, we also discussed the deal that LHX and UM pulled off. Mm-hmm. The only thing I had to say, I mean, we've discussed the Messier one, but the Iafredi Lemieux for Federico, Broughton, and Pitts. UM's got a hit on that pick. That pick next year, he's got a hit on that. And again, part of the reason I traded my pick next year is there's Sakic, there's Leach, Linden, someone else who's really good.
Someone.
And then everyone else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe with extra picks, UM can do something to trade up. But he felt like he gave up the better players and got the extra pick, but you really got a hit on that pick.
Yeah. Well, and there's always a method to his madness. I mean, the man has palm trees in his house somewhere that he has as a backdrop. So there's always a method to the madness somewhere there. So somewhere exactly. Well, as we're getting to about 15 to 8, and guys, this is actually going a little longer than I thought, and I'm glad that it did, because I was like, oh my God, how are we going to fill this up? We're going to have a section every week called Chirping the Chair, and this is where I'm just going to rattle off 5 questions to the guest, and he gets to answer. I did not give Sutton the questions until this afternoon, I think it was, or later,
I've got one question, and then it just says
question 2. Exactly. So this is going to be answered off the top of your head with these. So first, question number 1, if you could change only one thing about the Q entry draft, what would it change? What would you change?
I'd change it to how we did it with the W.
Excellent. Right answer. Ding, ding, ding.
Have a structure, have a time slot. The downfall to it is that it makes trading a little bit harder because you're under a time crunch, and not everyone is immediately available when you're trying to make. But at the same time, it runs smoother. It's much more just concise and so.
Yeah. Well, and the W draft was like a dream this year. A dream. It was great. So, all right, question number 2. If you had the ability to trade for one player from any team in the queue, who would it be, and who would you get up to get that player?
Okay, so where my team is situated right now, Patrick Waugh.
Okay, and what would you give up? Would you give up Gretzky?
No. I'd give up... It'd have to be more than just straight up.
Uh-huh.
But a Paul Coffey, Patrick Waugh package of some sort is where it would start.
Okay.
I mean, I love Paul Coffey, but honestly, I don't do a lot of offense with my defense. He's great defensively, but at the same time, I feel like someone else will see the shine of Paul Coffey and get me that stud goalie that I really desperately need.
Well, and I tell you, Waugh is just ungodly. And plus, I would go with Coffey just because I was an Oilers fan from 1980. That's all you got to see in West Virginia on the ABC Wide World of Sports. So,
and he played for the Kings.
There you go. All right, here you go. Other than NHL 95, what's your go-to video game and what platform? Xbox, PS4, Switch?
Today or as a kid?
Today.
So, honestly, today, this is the only game that I play.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. If I was a kid, I always loved the sports games. So, Tecmo Super Bowl, Double Dribble, any of the hockey series, Baseball Stars. I played all the sports stuff. But I also love Ghosts and Goblins. It was one of my favorite games.
Okay. I don't even know that one. What was...
Oh, it was the guy in the suit of armor, and you'd throw the lances at the ghouls that would come up out of the ground.
Sega game?
It was an arcade game, but I think it went on... it was on Nintendo.
Okay, gotcha. Because I was a sports guy other than the Atari games when it was just Pong and Tank. So, all right. This is the one I'm really interested to hear your question on, your answer. Other than yourself, who's the best GM in the entire 95 community?
Oh, Sean Bell.
Okay, well, that's
for a guy that picks last every single year, and sorry, are we talking Q or W?
All of them, everybody.
Yeah, it's Sean Bell.
Yeah, everything is King Midas. Everything he touches turns to fucking gold.
But you know what? He works at it. He's smart. He finds a mark.
And again, he knows how he plays, and he knows exactly what fits because he's played a lot of hours. It's obvious, without a doubt. All right, last one. What's your favorite holiday and why?
Thanksgiving.
See, that's my favorite. My favorite as well.
Even though I'm not American, for the last 20 years, I take off the Thursday and the Friday, go over to my buddy's house, we hang out, we drink beer, we eat food, and then, I'll sleep over there that night. And then on the Friday when I'm off is setting up the Christmas tree and doing all the stuff around. Because I also love Christmas. I do.
Sure.
Love Christmas. But honestly, American Thanksgiving, the food, the drinking, the camaraderie, the sports, it all comes together.
Yeah, I love it. Now, in Canada, when is your all's Thanksgiving? Y'all's in October or September or something?
Yeah, it's the second Monday in October.
Okay.
So it's usually about 5-6 weeks ahead of you guys.
Okay. So that's weird that Thanksgiving comes before Halloween. Do y'all do Halloween in Canada?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. I'm forgive the Canada questions because I'm totally naive about it, but the more I hear about it, I just want to get out of North Carolina and move north. But y'all have too much of that fucking snow shit. So.
Maddie, honestly, I tell you right now, how much snow we have on the ground.
Yeah.
It's been very, very nice.
We've not had snow in 3 years.
Well, I could do with that.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good thing down here because these North Carolina drivers can't fucking drive in it to save their life.
And Maddie, I mean, as a young child, I used to live in Georgia.
Oh.
When I was super young. But it's funny. Anytime we would drive back down to see my parents' friends, or we'd go to Florida, and sometimes you hit Tennessee, and there'll still be a little dusting of snow.
Yeah.
No one knows what the fuck they're doing. We're plowing through. It's perfectly fine. But part of it is that you guys don't have the tools and equipment to deal with it, right? So.
Yeah. We have brine. That's all we get here. Brine. That's it. So you can see the little lines on the road and you're like, okay, they're expecting snow. So, but anyway, well, Sutton, I really want to thank you so much for taking time out and wearing the awesome Hamilton Mustangs jersey because now I'm going to have to go fucking watch Youngblood, and for hanging out with me on this first episode. So I really appreciate it.
And Maddie, honestly, thank you for doing this. This is great that we're doing this for the Q. There couldn't be a better guy to host it. And
thanks.
Honestly, it's an honor that you asked me to be the first one. So thank you very
cool.
much.
Well, I knew you'd bring a lot of good stuff and could talk, and I need talkers. So, like I say, I lack in all of this stuff, but boy, I can throw in those little one-liners. That's my shtick, so to speak. But before we sign off here, there's a few people that I want to thank. First of all, I want to thank Ultra. Dude, you have created an absolutely fucking incredible community here, man. Just beyond anything. I mean, all I need to say is it's made me quit all of my OOTP baseball leagues. I play nothing else except this now. So that should say everything you want to. G and Salvo, dude, if it wasn't for you two, I probably wouldn't have had the balls to even attempt this. Because after watching Wolf and Klein for so long now, I was like, we need to really get something to focus on these other little leagues because there's, we got a lot of them, a lot of stuff going on. So big shout out to G and Salvo for really saying, do this, man, do this. Obviously Wolf and Klein for the WNC because you've kind of given me a stick to aim for to get there, type of thing. Also, I don't know if anybody's noticed down in the middle, in between Sutton and I, is just a super cool logo. And I don't know if you can even see it, Sutton, on your end. Probably not. Yeah, it's the logo. And thank you, Unholy, for this because, dude, this is fucking incredible because it's a little skull. Because of course I like metal music. So that just goes great when he's chewing on a puck, and it's awesome.
Are we going to be able to get this logo on the next ROM on the scoreboard?
Oh, I hope so. Yes, indeed. Digital Chiclets will sponsor anything and everything. We'll do hot wings, and we'll do hockey games. Exactly. It'll be all out there. We'll do it for free even. So, And last but not least, I want to thank all the guys in this community, because you guys are, outside of my best friend here who I play music with, and I know all of y'all have heard that whole story, which, by the way, we're going into the studio on January the 13th to cut of all things, a Christian children's book song for an author, exactly, when it opens up the book. But hey, I said my BMI might actually start getting good royalty checks again. So, but you guys are you're probably as close of friends as I have outside of Kevin here. So I want to thank all of you all for just the great camaraderie, the support when I had to leave, and welcome me back with open arms. I mean, that was just really touching, and I really appreciate it. So, I know that Christmas is coming up, so we're going to take a little break. I know it's first episode, but who's going to want to watch me over holidays? So, our next episode is going to be on January the 10th, and we'll let you know a little bit further out as we get closer who's going to be the guest. I've got a couple of people making sure it fits their schedule. Moving forward, we're going to do this at 8 p.m. as opposed to 7 p.m. on Wednesdays, mainly because TNT hockey, I got to see Bisonet. So, I do think we've already got Ultra is going to come on the playoff episode. So we're going to get that in, but I'm hoping that everybody will watch it enough that we can keep doing this for a long, long time, and maybe follow on the coattails of Wolf and Klein. So Sutton, again, dude, awesome job. Thank you very much. And like and subscribe. There you go. All right, guys. We'll catch y'all later, man. See ya.
Peace.
Lee.